So, we're gonna do a quick. We're gonna check out the rig of John, who's playing bass with Danko Jones today. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. This is really cool. We're here at the stage at Gröna Lund, which is a legendary venue, to say the least. Hendrix has played here. Lots of people have played here. This is really cool, if you ask me. I'm really excited about doing this. I have the lovely Sara Lindberg doing the camera work for me. There she is. So, we're here at Gröna Lund with John from Danko Jones band. Yeah, so we're gonna just go through your rig and see what you're playing, because that's what I'm really curious about.
Right now, I'm playing my EBS rig. Yeah. So, the EBS Classic 810 cabinet, and I have two TD 660s, which are the later versions of the EBS heads. So, I've been working with them for many years now, so they've always been super kind with us and stuff, and it's been great.
Yeah, how did you end up with EBS? Because I remember, like, back when I was in high school, like way back, well, not so long, but like a few years back, I saw like ads of you playing EBS. So okay. How did you end up with EBS, considering you're like a Swedish brand and whatnot?
Well, when you're old like me.
Yeah.
Well, we've been coming to Sweden. Our label was based in Lund. So when we first started touring Sweden, we were always using backline rental. And then they were like, you have to try the EBS. You have to try. So I tried back then was the Fafner. And and then I met the guys at EBS, and Ralph at EBS has been taking care of me now. So I'm pretty much everywhere we kind of go where we can get our hands on the EBS gear, we always go for it. So it's
yeah, that's really cool. It makes me happy as a Swede that you're playing.
It's great to kind of have the to be in Sweden and have the Swedish amplifiers and stuff. So.
Yeah. And you're using the classic 810.
The classic, the classic 810. Even though they're the new 810s, the Neoprim, they sound really good too. So it's just. This is pretty much a standard setup for me. Sometimes I use two of the 810 cabinets. So, but today we're just having. This is our setup for today. Okay. So what bass are you playing? I see you're using a Sandberg now. Yes, I'm using a Sandberg California bass. So again, it was through a mutual friend who said, "Hey, you should try the Sandberg," because I've always been playing the precision bass before. So it took a few months to get, but this is the one that I've been using, and it's been pretty much on the last record. This is all I played on it. It sounds great.
Yeah, is it like one of those custom models that you like shows like the?
Yeah, it was one of the custom models, so it took a bit of time to make. I think it took like 6 months or something. So, but it looks like pretty much one of the standard factory ones where it's just the color codes. But yeah, they're a great instrument. Stays really in tune, and I mean it's super solid. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Love that bolt on. Yeah, it looks great.
So you can really. It's pretty dynamic from sounding like a precision to almost precision jazz to almost like a Stingray. So you can kind of get in between with that. So that's pretty good.
So what strings are you using?
I'm using Jim Dunlops now. Okay. Yeah, so 45, 105. Okay. Yeah, pretty standard.
And you're a pick player, yeah.
Oh, picks are the.
Oh yeah. I love those. Those are perfect for bass players because you always hit with something.
Yeah, you're going to hit something if you hit. So.
That's like my motto. Whenever I use a pick, I use those. So pedal-wise, I see.
It's a standard TU3 Boss, and I'm using, the DI is a Sans amp, and then I'm also using a drive, which is the same Tech 21. The reason for that is it fits easily in the case. Yeah,
yeah, I can imagine.
For traveling, but I've been using some of the EBS pedals as well, like when I'm at home and stuff. So. I have the Billy Sheehan pedal, which is great, and then also Dark Glass Electronics has sent me some stuff. So that's kind of when you're in the studio, and you have some more time to fiddle. It's kind of they're a bit more fun too.
Yeah, and it gets like more forgiving to reduce stuff. If you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try this distortion and what. Yeah.
When you're kind of just thrown into a situation, you kind of want to have something that is gonna do the trick for you live and stuff. So it's kind of like a blend between the way the cab sounds and between the effects, so kind of gives a drive and stuff.
So I wanted to ask you, like, because you're a three-piece band.
Yes.
What's your approach to like creating bass lines, like filling out the void that is created?
Well, a lot of the time, my approach is really to not trample on the vocals. So you don't want to be too busy. So I think that's always something where you don't want to overplay and play on top of stuff. So, but also because we're a three-piece, I'm kind of acting like a backup guitar sometimes, especially because it's just a bit of there's a big sound and whatnot. So it's just really know where to find your spots and you know. If not, there will be noodles everywhere, and that's not that much fun, right?
No, exactly. You have a new drummer. It was his first record, the last one, right?
This is going to be his third record. So
yeah.
He's been with us for 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you've gone through
relatively new, but he's
been
with us for quite some time now. So, and I mean, also he's got a pretty minimal setup.
Yeah.
He's got 3 drums, a cowbell, and 2 cymbals in the hi-hat. So
yeah. Still, I mean, like the relationship between the bass player and the drummer is like it's so important. It's like
it's been we've been able to lock in pretty early on, and like, you know, he kind of joined the band on while we were doing a U.S. tour, so I was kind of just thrown into the fire, and ever since we first played with him, and I kind of knew there was going to be a good thing going, and it's so far so good.
Yeah.
So it's been great. Yeah.
I wanna know, I've got to rock, I need to roll. If you can't hang, the speed I go, I'm gonna roll tonight.
Fun fact, like I'm not gonna say way back when, but when I bought my first distortion pedal, it was the EBS multi-drive, and it was actually because of your bass riff in Lover Call. It was one of the reasons.
Okay, good. Oh, that's great. Well,
yeah,
that's fantastic to hear.
Yeah, and I still have it. It's like it sits on my shelf. I haven't tried it in like I think 5 years now. I think I should like power it on and see if it still works.
Oh, there you go. You can go have some fun and play Lover Call.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll play that tonight.
Oh, you will? Oh, yeah. Then I'm happy.
My name is on the sign. My name is Danko Jones.
When you record, do you do it live or do you do it?
For this record, this latest record that we just did, Rock Supreme, we all recorded live. So we recorded with Garth Richardson in a studio in Vancouver. So he really wanted to get the feeling of us playing, and you know, just so the song's breathing and whatnot. So, but before we also did it where we kind of had like the guide track, and you go in, you do the drums, but which still has that feeling, but not as much as when you're all playing live together. I think that kind of captures it, and you kind of take it off a grid, so it's not precise. It breathes. So
yeah, I love that. Like you get that natural motion between like a verse and a chorus, like the.
If it's something speeding up a little bit or slowing down, it's just part of the song. Because when you listen to, you know, classic recordings of songs, that's kind of what we kind of all gravitate to, is that, you know, that pulse. Exactly. You know, our heartbeat doesn't beat constantly. No, exactly. So we kind of want to have, you know, bring through that little thing. So.
And I find that you play better when you do it like that. When you play live in the studio, you get that nervous edge to your playing.
When you're there, and like, you know, they really is getting the sounds for the drums. So when you're helping, like, the drums lay down the tracks, and you're actually playing it, you're giving it 100%. Then it translates, and it helps with when you're, you know, I can go back and spend time with the amps and the pedals and whatnot. And
did you like sit in the same room, or were you like in separate?
We were all in the same room playing live, and with a PA setup.
Oh.
So it's pretty intense. And Garth was in the room with us.
Oh.
So he was just there, and that's his style of getting the best out of the band. So it was the first time for us to do that, but it was something that was. I always thought, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, there's a live PA. How are you going to? And it didn't make it. It just really helped with the performance, and with the, you know, with capturing a definite vibe where it needs to be like live, especially for a three-piece band, like, you know, because there's not too much to hide behind. There's no string section or there's no funky keyboard coming,
and no like 5-layered guitars, like no.
It's even there's like I think 1 or 2 songs that's just one guitar, one bass line, and So that's what you get. Like, you know.
And you're using wedges, not in-ear monitors.
I'm using the wedges. We've tried the in-ears, and I think we're probably going to do some in-ears when we do the fall tour. We're touring with Volbeat in the fall, so we've got some of those ultimate ears, and it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different both, and I think that my ultimate resolution may be to go with one in-ear and a wedge when it's possible, just so you kind of have that vibe. So, but the in-ears are great. Like, you really feel like, I mean, you can hear everything. Yeah. You have so much control, so it's good.
Have you tried the backbeats? Have you seen about that? It's like a subwoofer that you put on a strap to get like the sensation of having a cabinet.
Keep turning around and trying to slap someone, and I feel like someone's going to be hitting me though. Is it? I mean,
what was that? Who was that? Who did that?
But that sounds interesting. So really, so it has.
They were at NAMM this winter. They did a Kickstarter. I actually funded it and got one. It's really cool if you're
check it out. I got to check it out. So sounds interesting.
Yeah, so if you're using in-ears, you get
kind of like a thumper for the drummers, right?
Exactly, so. But on your strap.
Does it massage as well? Is there?
And if you got I should warn you, if you got a bass with a really high output, you should probably like lower the gain because
it's going to be super.
Yeah, because I've got a Billy Sheehan bass with a DiMarzio pickup, which is really hot, and I was like, I'm gonna crank it, just try to. Almost broke my back, so be warned. But
well, that's good. So there's always these little trinkets and stuff to try out. So. That's good. We on the last record, the guitars, they used this thing called Evertune. Have you heard?
Yeah.
I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And like,
I've been like Googling frantically, like, will there be an Evertune for
a bass version of? Well, our friend Devin Townsend, he came to the studio because he lived nearby, and he showed us his guitar, that's a piece of art. That's a whole other. Anybody listening out there, go and look at the guitar because it's a whole other world.
It's sorcery. It's sorcery.
It's magic. It's the ultimate magic. I think that's it. That's his.
It's not even a guitar.
It was wild, and like just he gave us a demo on how he just detuned it and stuff, and then he goes, "I just press this, boom," and it was like in tune, perfect. So it was wonderful. But
have you convinced Danko to try it?
To try the Evertune?
Yeah.
He tried. He played. He played with Demon's guitar a few times, and then there was a few other guitars in the studio that had it. So, and it was pretty wild, especially for the studio. When you keep doing, when you're doing it down to guitar tracks, you have to keep doing repeated takes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time is like you waste tuning, like fine tuning. But then when it stays perfectly in tune, you can kind of ever record when you're in Evertune. So it was
like, and then like. What's the word? That's the word. An infinite. Perpetual recording.
Perpetual recording. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're in a constant motion for it.
And without the click track, I mean, that's pretty pleasurable, I guess.
That's great.
So yeah. Thank you so much, John.
Oh,
this was it was a pleasure.
Oh, that's great.